Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for joining. Today, what we want to talk about is the idea of balance and fairness in the information that is presented to us. Now, we all know in this day and age, there is this debate about what is fair, what is true, is it fake news? All these questions are being asked. And just by asking those questions, there is this air of doubt being created of all the information that is being presented to us. The comments made by Emily Maitlis, who is saying that who is implying or he is alleging that the BBC might not be fair when it comes to certain topics, when it comes to certain ideas, very specifically Brexit. BBC is shying away from discussing certain topics because that in itself looks bad on the BBC, but also on the government, and government supporting media is not discussing the Brexit at all. There are so many problems that is being caused by Brexit, but every time that those are mentioned, let's say for example sewage being pumped into rivers and the sea, cost of living crisis, the energy crisis, all of these things, there's an aspect of Brexit involved in it. Brexit is not mentioned. Now, this is because they want to keep Brexit as something positive and completely not a factor that is associated to any of these problems, which is not really the case. It is unfair to suggest that Brexit is responsible for all problems. However, the question is that when it is a factor associated to these problems, it is not being discussed in the appropriate manner. Now, what is the solution to this problem? BBC is a massive organization with hundreds of people working. So there is, of course, number of levels that the news goes through in order for it to get to be broadcast. So when we receive that information, not just BBC, we don't have to single out BBC, it could be any organization, any news organization. How do we know if a particular news segment or a piece of news is fair? We have no empirical way of knowing that. It is just our sense that it doesn't sound fair. That is not trust. It cannot be trusted either, because from the perspective we look at that news, we might think it is fair or we might think it is not fair. It is again playing on the biases we have. So the only way to solve this problem is to look at news collectively, to look at news from different perspectives. I might look at a piece of information and think about it in a certain way, and you might be thinking about it in a very different way, just because of our backgrounds, how we were brought up, where we are from, what we learned when we were kids, so on. There's so many factors that go into that perspective. So with this many perspectives, this many ideas, different background, is it even possible to be fair and balanced when it comes to news and publishing? This is a problem we are actively trying to solve with Poplayer. Thank you very much for joining. We would love to hear your comments, your ideas on how to improve the status quo, how to improve the quality of the news that is being presented to us. Please comment below. Thank you very much for your time. We'll hope to see you soon and speak to you soon.